Hello, I'm Saskia, a seasoned yoga teacher, and I wanted to put this video together. It's an hour yoga class, and it's for all you teachers who have done the most amazing work in this last year and 2 years in holding everything together. And from one teacher to another, I just wanted to offer this yoga class as a big thank you. And in the hope that it supports you throughout the summer in helping you recalibrate and find your balance again after putting out so much of yourself to serve children. Thank you. I'm going to go through some of the props that will be helpful. And you can pause the video, get them, or you can improvise until they arrive. So I normally have a little pouch, and in my little pouch of goodies, I have 2 hand pillows. I've made these, I love these. I place them in my hands at the end of class with Shavasana. And the gentle weight, it's just 4 ounces of flax seeds. With this weight in the palms of my hands, while I'm in the final resting pose, just allows for greater grounding, and it gives you the feeling that someone's holding your hand. It's really a comforting sensation. So I've made these. If you're interested, reach out. Also in the little pouch is an eye pillow. I personally keep them lightweight, and you can either place them on your forehead or over your eyes. The eye pillow at the end of class in Shavasana is all about supporting you in drawing your senses inwards and dropping deeper into that place of quiet and rejuvenation, so that the body and the intellect can integrate and digest all that it's received in the yoga practice. And lastly, in my little pouch is a belt. So that's the contents of the belt, of the pouch, and that's a very helpful little goodie bag to keep ready for class. If you have 1 or 2 yoga blocks, it can be very helpful. You can sit on them, you can use them in postures, really to support you within the posture and often allow you to move deeper and experience a deeper experience of the posture. A blanket or a bolster. Either or both can be super helpful. These are quite large and they're nice and firm. So it's a very comfortable support with which to sit on if your hamstrings are tight, if your hips are tight. You want to sit higher to liberate the spine and to sit with ease. So these are the key props that I encourage you to have to take class. And with all that said, let us come find a comfortable seated position and we will begin. So as we come to seated, this is where you will experiment as to how it is to sit with a straight, extended spine. We want to sit on top of the buttock bones, not behind the buttock bones. If you notice that you're sitting behind the buttock bones and you can't quite sit straight, you need elevation. So even the simple act of folding your blanket once over or having 2 blankets, you can make yourself a throne. You can sit up high. You may choose to sit in a chair. We want to have a straight spine because we want to be able to breathe and occupy the lungs in its greater capacity. So take your time to explore. Yes, it can be humbling. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to admit that I have to sit higher. That's part of the process, to allow ourselves to be humble to the presence of where we truly are right now. So, however high up you are, now we interlock the legs. And I have you move your legs a little further away from your body, from your torso, so that your heels are stacked under your knees. And as you actively engage the feet into the earth, you're retracting the ball of the foot back so that the ball of the foot and the heel are on the same plane. Engaging the outer edge of the foot into the earth allows the intelligence of the feet to awaken. And it also allows you to have a more stable base. We're also working towards bringing the knees closer in towards each other so that we're also impacting the hips and creating more opening in the hips. So once we've set this foundation, we come to close the eyes and draw our senses inwards. So you can keep your hands resting on the thighs, or you can place your right palm on top of the left with your thumbs gently resting together. The proportions from limbs to torso will generally dictate which of those two positions are most comfortable. So let us close our eyes. As we draw our senses inwards, we're reclaiming our energy. We're drawing it back into us. So as we come to sit, and we take that conscious action of drawing inwards, allow the tip of your tongue to rest behind the two front teeth. And softly gaze your inner gaze inwards and upwards to your brow point. Shoulders are releasing away from the ears. And your collarbone is broad. We are encouraged to breathe in and out through the nose. The act of breathing in and out through the nose allows us to draw the breath deeper into the body. When we breathe through our mouth, we only have the ability to breathe in the thoracic and the upper torso. And that creates shorter breath. And it actually overstimulates and stresses the central nervous system. So that recultivation of breathing slowly in and out through the nose allows us to draw the breath deeper into the body, deeper into the lungs and down into the diaphragm. Now, when we begin to breathe, we may be aware of bumps or jagged edges in the breath. Sit with it. It will change. It will transform. This is why we do the practice of sitting in quiet meditation for 5 to 7 minutes at the beginning of class. To expand our connection to our breath, to allow the breath to inhabit the body more fully. And in doing so, we come to connect and listen to the body and its needs. Is there stress in the body today? Is there physical discomfort? How is your anxiety? Is there anger? This holding of space we come to witness how we are in this moment. And we begin to cultivate holding space for that witnessing. Continue to allow the breath to be present and allow that to be your anchor here. Allow that consistent, steady inhale and that smooth, consistent, steady exhale. Witnessing the path of the breath and breathing as if in slow motion. Reconnecting to this most primal part of ourselves that we don't often have to pay attention to. But by placing an ounce of attention to our breath, can create powerful ripple effects in our mental and emotional bodies and our physical bodies. Two more breaths in. Two more steady, cleansing breaths out. And coming to take your hands together at the heart. And gently coming to bow your chin down to your heart. Inviting your magnificent mind to merge with the wisdom of your body and your soul. And coming to open the eyes back into the room. Now, in that 5 to 7 minute period of sitting, if now at the end you're beginning to feel pulling and tugging in the mid and lower back, that's an indication that sitting a little higher is beneficial. And you'll feel that that will begin to allow you to sit with greater ease. And in time, you'll be able to lower the height that you're sitting. But the practice really is to have acceptance and honoring where we are right now, as humbling as it can be. All right, inhale. We're going to sweep the arms up overhead. Full sweeping action. You may not be able to bring the arms alongside the ears. They may stay out here. What's more important is that the shoulder blades release down the back of the body. From this length, actively engage the outer edges of the feet again into the earth. And then as you exhale, lengthen forwards and rest the hands to the earth. Now you may have the hands alongside the body, the knees, or the shins, or anywhere else in between. We want to keep a long extended spine. The buttock bones are rooting into the earth. And with every inhale, we continue to lengthen and extend. And with every exhalation, we either stay as we are, or we hinge a little deeper forward. But we allow the opening to come from the hips, not from the rounding of the back. All right. 2 more breaths. Close the eyes. Drop the chin down to the heart, so the neck is relaxed. One more inhale and one more steady, cleansing exhale. And as you inhale, gently easing back up. And come change the interlock of your legs. Pay attention to the placement of the feet. Retract the toes. Actively engage the outer edge of the foot into the earth so that we're working towards stacking the mound of the big toe above the mound of the pinky toe. Your inner heel above your outer heel. And again, this is an evolution. It might not be available in your body right now. This is where we're working towards. And your knees may be further apart and higher up. So it is a process. As we inhale, we raise once again, extending and lengthening up. Full cleansing breaths in and out. And as you exhale, gently come release the fingertips to the earth. Full cleansing breaths in and steady cleansing breaths out. Allow for that rhythmic breath here. With every inhale, maintain the length and extension through the spine. And with every exhalation, if we're moving forwards, we're moving from the heart rather than the intellect. Now that might mean that the movement that you experience is a lot smaller than your intellect would want it to be. That's okay. It's what you're feeling in your body. Sometimes that slight forward motion creates a large sensation somewhere else in the body. That's the indication. It's not about how low am I going? I'm not going as low as the teacher. This is not right. It's what you are the sensations that you are experiencing in your body that is informing you what it is that you need to do. One more inhale. One more exhale. And then we gently ease back up. All right. I mentioned a belt earlier. We're going to use it now. If you don't have a belt at home, the strap of a bathrobe, an old necktie that the partner doesn't use, you don't use, you can improvise. There are many ways. All right. We're going to lie onto the back. Take the hands and gently wrap them around the knees and rock from side to side, allowing the spine to release to the earth. We're going to keep the right knee into the chest, and we're going to lengthen and extend the left leg out along the ground. Root the left heel into the earth and imagine descending the back of that left thigh to the earth. And we're going to circle that right ankle in a nice, full, round circle. So we're tractioning the legs apart. But circle that right foot the other way. And then we'll come release right foot to the floor, reach for your belt, and raise the left leg up into the air. You're going to place the belt around the sole of that left foot. And you're going to place it around the pad of the foot. You've got a nice bird's eye view of the foot. Again, your leg may be here. It may be here. Wherever it is along this trajectory, honor it. It's that stretch on the back of the leg that is going to be your indicator as to where your leg needs to be. So make sure the leg is straight. Take out any bend in the knee. And that may mean that you need to move the leg a little further away from the body. Now have a look at your foot. Can you spread your toes? It took me years to be able to spread my toes. But just see, for some people it comes very naturally, but just play with pressing up through the pad of the foot, so that, as you can see, the pad of my foot is a little higher than the heel. And that activates the foot a little more. This also engages the front and the back of the leg more evenly. Now drop back into your breath. Smooth, steady, cleansing breaths in. And smooth, steady, cleansing breaths out. Try not to create a tug of war with the arms. You can wrap your hands around the belt so that the arms can be a little more passive. Because if we're pulling and holding on tight with the arms, there's going to be tension that travels up in the neck and shoulders, and even in your face. Scan your face. Is your brow, your cheeks, your jaw, your tongue, is it holding tension? And can you relax and let it go? Let that travel down to the neck and the shoulders and the arms. Are you holding tension? And can you release that tension? It's the leg that's working. All right, we're going to take the belt into the left hand. Turn your toes to the left side. Let the leg turn in the hip socket. And then gently ease the leg over to the left side. Let the toes and the kneecap point downwards to the earth. Allow your hip to root down. Right hip and right ribs are rooting down to the earth as you lengthen and extend that right leg out to the side. Shoulders are releasing away from the ears, and we find our breath. Smooth, steady, cleansing breaths in and out. Again, your leg may not be very low to the ground. It's not moving to the ground. It's lifted up off the ground. And your leg may be just a slight angle out to the side. All of that is acceptable. It's about doing less and listening to your body. I am here to guide you with the postures, but it's your relationship and your connection to your body that you are building. That is most important. I'm here to make suggestions within the posture, but it's your discernment as to what your body needs and is capable of that you need to operate from. Stay with your breath. 2 more breaths in and 2 more steady, cleansing breaths out. Inhale, sweep the leg back to center. Take the belt into your right hand. Your left hand is now free. Come hook your left thumb into your left hip crease. You're gently guiding your hip away from the armpit to bring right and left hip on the same plane. You're going to cross your left foot slightly over to the right side. so that your left toes align with your right shoulder or your right ribs. Your left hip stays on the floor. This can be a very intense stretch along the outer band of the leg. Work your breath and do less. You don't have to go too far. Just doing 5 or 10% less will ease up on that heightened sensation, so it becomes less stressful to the mind and the body, but it still serves its purpose. It's still bringing in opening, strength, realignment into the body, but we're not forcing. We're listening and acting with love and respect accordingly. 2 more breaths. Now witness as you lengthen up through that left inner heel and the left mound of the big toe. If you find that lengthening upwards to the ceiling, you'll witness it enhances the stretch along the outer band of the leg. Just that slight activation in the foot is going to have an impact. Exhale. Release the leg. Extend both legs out along the ground and close your eyes. Notice the difference on the right and left leg. Can you feel the energy pulsing through that left leg? It feels longer, and the right leg may well feel dull and shorter. So we'll balance ourselves out. Now we're going to hug that left knee into the chest. You can take the hands around the front of the shin or the back of the knee. Depending on where it is, you can catch it with ease. Now, as you root into that right heel, imagine descending the back of the right thigh to the earth as you gently hug that left knee into the chest. Circle the left ankle in a nice full round circle. Rooting into your right heel, spreading your toes. And allowing the legs to traction in opposite directions to each other. Now we're going to release that left foot to the floor. We're going to raise the right leg up into the air. Place the belt around the sole of your right foot. And again, spread your toes wide. The belt is now in the right hand. The leg is straight. Take the bend out of that right knee. You may need to move the leg further away from the body in order to truly straighten the leg. Expand upon your breath. Full cleansing breaths in and smooth, steady cleansing breaths out. Play with if you can create space between all 5 toes. And then when you're ready, we're going to turn that right leg in the right hip socket. Once you've turned the leg in the hip, then we're going to ease that right leg over to the left side. Yes, my right elbow and upper arm is resting on the floor, and that gives me more stability. My right arm is it is engaged and the belt is taut, and that helps to suspend the leg out to the right side. The grounding of the left hip and the left ribs is also giving you the power, the ability to lengthen and extend that right leg out to the right side. Rounding on the left supports length and extension on the right. Now you'll hear me say often in class that less is more. When we pull back 5 or 10%, for some 20%, you'll be able to experience the posture more fully because you will be out of strain and in a place of effort where you're more able to witness what is going on throughout the body rather than one isolated area. And this is what we want. We want to be able to witness where the body is as a whole and not just focus on one particular limb or joint. Inhale, sweep the legs steadily back to center. Come take the belt into your left hand. Your right hand is free. So come hook your right thumb into the right hip crease and lengthen and extend up through the mound of your big toe. Lengthen up through the inner heel of your right foot. Now harness the breath. It's quite a stretch on the outer band of that right leg. And that smooth, steady inhale and that even, steady exhale is what tells the body, it's okay, you're safe. I'm consciously taking this action and we're not in any danger. This is that mindful connection, that present moment connection to the body. As I mentioned on the other side, if it's super intense and you notice that you're wincing or contorting your face, just move the leg a tiny bit over to the right side and notice how it takes the edge off. But the sensation is still there, but it's not as intense. One more inhale. One more exhale. And then we'll release the leg down to the earth. Straighten both legs out along the ground once again. Close your eyes. They should feel balanced now. You should feel a little tingly, both of them. The body saying, thank you, that was delicious. All right, we're going to bend the knees. We're going to rest the feet on the floor. This same belt, you're going to place on the floor in front of your buttocks. So the belt sits in between your buttocks and the heels. Now you can't see your feet, so you have to feel it out. We're going to do bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. Your knees are stacked above your heels and your heels are in line with your buttocks. That doesn't mean your heels need to be all the way up to the buttocks. That's not necessary. But they want to be in line with your buttocks. If you have, where'd it go? If you have a yoga block, place it in between your thighs and gently squeeze. This will help keep the knees in line with the hips so as to protect the lower back. If you don't have the block, just be mindful that you don't splay your knees out to the side because that can be detrimental to your back, to your lower back. If you don't have the block in between the thighs, and this is a new posture to you, your key anchor or key aspect to pay attention to is the positioning of the legs, that they do not splay apart, and keeping the head still, gaze upwards to the ceiling. We're going to lift our hips in bridge pose. Never turn your head when your hips are lifted. So if you wish to see it for the first time, you may, while your hips are resting to the floor, you may watch me do the first one. But do not turn your head while your hips are raised. The neck could be injured. All right. Phase 2. Take your hands on the floor and slide your hands under the belt. So the backs of your hands are pressing into the earth and the belt is down the palm of your hands. And you can close in on the belt and imagine you could stretch the belt to the side walls. And notice as you create some tension in the belt, it assists you in drawing your shoulder blades down the back of your body. Now your arms want to be as snug as they can alongside the body, and you want to gently press the backs of the hands and the arms into the earth. Now we're ready. We're going to root the back of the skull, arms, shoulders, and feet into the earth, and we're going to lift the hips. Raise the pubis bone upwards to the ceiling and lengthen buttock bones towards the back of the knees. Take a couple of breaths in and out. Exhale, vertebrae for vertebrae, slowly releasing the buttocks gently back down to the earth as you pause. Take a recovery breath. Back bends are all about repetition. So we're going to do 2 more. Find your foundation, root into your feet. Now, a nice little addition, another nice layer to this posture is, can you lift your toes off the floor? Just your toes. The mound, the ball of your foot remains on the floor. So you press into the mound of the big toe, you press into the mound of the pinky toe, and you root into your inner heel. So rooting into the inner heel and the mound of the big toe is a nice grounding point so that the body, so that the hips can raise and you keep the knees parallel. And it helps to keep the alignment in the legs, and it will make your legs work more efficiently. It will engage the muscles in the legs in a more balanced way, because we're creatures of habit. Some of our muscles may be firing and some of our muscles may be more passive. But as you lift your toes and really root into the mound of the big toe, mound of pinky toe, inner heel, outer heel, can you feel how it shifts what is being asked in the legs? And it should create a more balanced action and therefore more strength above and below your knee. Slow release, vertebrae for vertebrae, gently back down to the earth as you pause. If that was helpful, do it again, lifting of the toes. We're creating strength above and below the knee, because that's a vulnerable joint. We're keeping the knees parallel, and we're doing a back bend. We don't do back bends in our daily life. We don't need to. But it's important to keep the energy flowing through the spine. It's our superhighway to our central nervous system. So doing our bridge pose, doing our back bends is so important to the health and vitality of the body as a whole. Last one. Find your foundation, root into your feet. Inhale, slowly come to rise. Draw the shoulder blades down the back of your body and lift the hips. Your feet are rooting into the earth. Lift the toes if that was helpful and a powerful cue for you. Pressing into the arms, rooting into the back of the skull and the shoulders. Now, you are working towards coming onto the tops of your shoulders, not the backs of your shoulder blades. But that is an evolution that may take several years. But know that's the direction that you're moving in. Open in the backs of the knees. One more breath. Maybe challenge yourself. Can you go a little higher? Exhale. Slow vertebrae for vertebrae. Releasing the spine and the buttocks gently back to the earth. Take a recovery breath here as you pause. Now, when you practice this again in the future, if you find that when you raise the hips, you can bring your hands closer towards each other, you may. Sometimes doing a little penguin walk, rocking from side to side, can help draw the shoulder blades down the back of the body. Now, if your fingertips, if your pinky tip fingers touch with ease as you walk your hands closer towards each other on the belt, you may release the belt and interlock the hands, but only if you can keep the arms and the inner wrists rooting down to the ground. If the arm is raised and it's not in contact with the earth, your shoulders are not ready yet. Continue to use the belt. This is important. It will happen in time, but we need to come at it slowly, respectfully, humbly. And the body will open as it receives the information that you are listening to it. It's not your mind governing the posture. It's your mind listening and integrating with your body and the information that it is giving you. Exhale, let's roll on over to the right side. Use that left hand as we ease and support ourselves back up. Yeah, you're going to get a bit of a bed head after all that rubbing of the back of the head. So the practice that I teach really is about pulling back, doing less, and the listening. And in doing so, we begin to create greater harmony with the mind and the body. Coming on up, because our minds are very slippery and can work in overdrive. There can be too much emphasis on the desires of the mind, which is not optimal for the needs of the body. Now we come to Tadasana. And I found through the practice of yoga, this has taught me to listen more to this magnificent body, to be more respectful of this body. And what I found more in life is that I'm learning to undo and to do less. This is one of the most precious gifts that the yoga practice has come to offer me over the years. And it is a lifetime journey. It is continually teaching me new things about the quality of my mind, the quality of my body as it grows older every day and every week and every year. All right, in our Tadasana, allow your middle toe to align with the center of the heel. Remember that lifting of the toes that we just did in our bridge pose? Do it here once again. Lift just toes off the ground and feel the mound of your big toe, mound of pinky toe, inner heel and outer heel, rooting into the earth. Shift your weight back 5% more in your heels. Just a very small energetic shift back. Spread your toes and let them rest to the earth. They're not spreading yet. Just continue to practice. It will begin, the intelligence in the feet will begin to awaken more and more. Now, if it feels like your knock-kneed, this repositioning of the legs, then have a micro bend in the knees, barely visible, but you know it's there. And that will help to start to realign the muscles around the skeletal structure to create greater support and symmetry within the body. We tend to stand in varying degrees with the toes turned out. When the toes are turned out, there's a pressure and a compression that begins to happen in the sacrum, and we begin to lock in the sacrum, creating tension and restriction here. But this aligning of the feet to bring them parallel creates balance and takes away compression. It also brings greater grounding into the physical body. So I invite you to take hands to heart center. It's optional for you to have eyes open and closed. Your eyes are open. We call it the drishti, that you keep your eyes softly fixed on a non-moving object out in front. If you're comfortable closing the eyes, allow your hands to rest at heart center. Allow for that broadening of the collarbone as your shoulder blades frame the back of your body. You got that 5% more in the heels than in the balls of your feet. And you're going to find, either physically or in your mind's eye, an inch below your belly button. And you're going to draw in towards the spine. And you're going to lift and lengthen up to the heart. Heart lengthens to throat, and throat to the crown of your head. This is an internal action, and it's soft. It's not aggressive. It's not taut. It's a gentle engagement internally. Allow your shoulders to release away from the ears, but allow your heart and your crown to rise and ascend. Two more breaths in. Two more breaths out. And then we inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Let the movement and the breath merge. Exhale, sweeping the arms back down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. The simple act of movement and breath. Feel how wonderful this feels and how liberating to the body this simple act can feel. Now we're going to take our hands to heart center. We're going to transfer the weight to your right foot. We're going to come to tree pose for saskia. We're going to let the left toes rest to the earth. Left heel to right ankle. We're peeling this left knee back. And we're keeping the hips square to the front of the room and level. You can stay right here. Or you can raise your foot above or below the right knee. Never on the knee. That's too much of a vulnerable joint. Now, keep your drishti. Keep your gaze soft and steady, extending out on a non-moving object. If you know yourself to have open hips, you can, if I can do it today, you can take hold of the ankle, place the ball of the foot to the inner upper thigh, and press the foot into the thigh. The thigh presses back into the foot. You can keep your hands at heart center, or you can raise the arms up overhead. Honor your arm position. It may be further out. Now, exhale, take your hands to heart center. Release the leg and bring it out in front. You're going to hover here for a moment. Good. Come step the foot back. Draw the left foot back and root the left heel into the earth. You can see that my left back foot is pointing more north than it is out to the side. This is important for the alignment of this back left leg so the knee is protected. If your left foot is turned out to the left side and you're trying to square the hips, your knee is being pulled in two opposing directions and you could create tension and stress and strain. So the back foot is pointing as if at 11 o'clock, at a face of a clock, in order to protect the left knee and the hip. Hands come rest at heart center. Right knee sacks above right heel, rooting into the back left heel. Heart is open. Spine is ascending. And from the grounding of your back heel, you're steady. Inhale, come raise the arms up overhead. Again, some of you may be able to take the palms of the hands together and extend the arms alongside the ears and the head. But often the shoulders are tight. So you may need to bring the arms wider apart. It's more important that the shoulder blades are drawing down the back body and there's freedom in the neck and shoulders. So keep the arms wider if that's in your practice today. As you exhale, release the arms. Hands come to heart center, and we come step the back foot to the head of the mat. Take a pause. Drop back into your Tadasana. Find that 5% in the heels more than the balls of your feet. Find your inch below the belly button as you draw in towards the spine and lift and lengthen up to the heart. Heart lengthens to throat and throat to the crown of your head. So we defy gravity. We're rooted and connected to the earth, but we're ascending and rising up through the spine. This can take effort in the beginning to realign the muscles and to encourage them to fire with greater balance in the body, in the workings of the body. When you're ready, find your drishti, steady the gaze out on the non-moving object out in front. Transfer the weight to the left foot. Allow right toes to rest to the earth. Peeling right knee back, but keeping the hips square to the front of the room and level. You can stay right here. If you wish to take it one step further, you place the foot to the calf, or you bring it up to the inner upper thigh, born of the foot, and followed by the heel. Find that grounding. The foot presses into the thigh presses into the foot. That's your anchor. You can keep hands at heart center, or you can raise the arms up overhead. You may wobble, you may topple, but you will catch yourself. This is why we do balancing, because we need to remember that we can catch ourselves when we trip over, when we fall, or we learn to fall more safely. Exhale, take the hands to heart center. We release the leg. Keep the knee out in front. Hold that balance. And then come step, right foot back behind you. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Now my right foot is more at 1 o'clock than it is 12 o'clock. The hips are square to the front of the room. The back knee is protected because the back foot is more at 1 o'clock. Left knee is stacked above left heel. We inhale and we sweep the arms up overhead. All cleansing breaths in and out. Standing strong in your warrior. Working with your appropriate arm position. Maybe today your hands stay at heart center and you just work on the foundation. Every day you will assess, what do I need today? Doesn't matter what I did yesterday or last week or last year. What do I need right now? Exhale. Take your hands at the heart and come step your back foot to the head of the mat. Dropping into the heart, pause here in your Tadasana. Draw your senses inwards and observe the quality of your breath. Observe the connection that you have with your body and how did your body receive the postures that we have done until now. As you come to open the eyes, we're going to travel down to the earth. We're going to come to lie onto our backs. Now we're going to do a supine twist, and then we're going to move to our Shavasana. So you may find if you have a bolster, you may want to use the bolster for the Shavasana, our final resting pose, or you can use it or a rolled up blanket for the Shavasana and or the twist. I'm going to put the bolster here so it doesn't impede your view. And you're going to come lie on your back. And again, hug the knees into the chest. Release the spine to the earth. We're going to extend the arms out in a T formation, arms in line with the shoulders. And we're going to release the knees over to the right side. Having a folded blanket can be a wonderful support. So as you draw the knees over to the right side, what's more important here is that your left shoulder remains on the ground. If your left shoulder is coming off the ground, you need to elevate a little more on this right side to protect that vulnerable joint of your shoulder. No talking, no straining in the shoulder. So your shoulders want to remain level and resting to the earth. It's the waist and the pelvis that is turning. So you need to accommodate the legs on the right side in order to maintain support on the shoulders, on that right shoulder. Good, so make the appropriate adjustments. And we're going to turn the head to the left. Take a nice cleansing breath in. A nice, smooth, steady cleansing breath out. And you can gently scoop your right inner organs over to the left side as if to draw left ribs closer to the earth. One more inhale. One more exhale. And then as you bring the head back to center, You can bring the legs one at a time or together back to center. You're going to rest your feet to the floor. Lift your hips just slightly and release them back down. If the sacrum is shifted, that will realign the sacrum and bring balance back into the body. Take your blanket and rest it now over to the left side. Bring the knees into the chest, extend the arms out along the ground, and then release the knees over to the left. How is the right shoulder? Is it passive? Is it resting to the earth? We're not always in balance on the right and left side. One side may need a little extra support than the other. Act accordingly to support the body. Turning the head now to the right. Imagine scooping left inner organs over to the right side as if to draw right ribs closer to the earth. A smooth, steady inhale and a smooth, steady, cleansing exhale. Breathing into the twist and allowing the body to receive the twist in the skeletal structure, in the organs, and the muscles and fascia, all of it. And then we gently ease back to center. Feel free to rest the feet to the earth as we gently lift the hips and we release them back down to the earth. Now we come to our Shavasana. Here we have a nice cool morning. So I'm going to put my cardigan back on. Placing a bolster under the back of the knees or a rolled up blanket under the back of the thighs and the knees helps to support the natural curvature of the spine. I want to put a blanket around my feet for extra snugness. Again, it's not a hot, hot day yet, and that feels good. So every day you'll act accordingly as to what your body needs depending on the temperature indoors and out. But take your time to luxuriate in what feels good and supportive to your body. This is a very simple act of self-care that we can easily let slip by. But it's so rewarding to give ourselves these extra practices, to care for ourselves in the most optimal way. If you have hand pillows, place them in the palms of your hands and allow the backs of the hands to rest to the earth. In Shavasana, the arms are 45 degrees from the body and the palms are facing upwards. The symbolism of the palms facing upwards, even if the hand pillows are in the palms, is our invitation to surrender. To surrender what we know, to surrender our ego, to surrender all our limiting beliefs that can hold us back, so that we can come to know who we are in our unique magnificence. All of this in this simple gesture of allowing the palms of the hands to face upwards to the ceiling. With your eye pillow, you may place it over the forehead if you don't want to place any weight or pressure on the eyeballs, or you place it over the eyes. It draws out the light and it allows us to draw deeper into that state of relaxation. Allow your bottom jaw to release from your top jaw. And here we allow the innate wisdom and intelligence of the body integrate and digest all the information we received in class today. Here we allow our physical body to surrender into the earth. With every exhalation, we invite another layer of letting go. Gently beginning to move your fingers and your toes in ways that feel comfortable to you, allowing your breath to become slightly fuller and deeper. Now, if you are loving where you are, feel free to stay here. You have the time. You can stay here for as long as you need to. If you're ready to start your day, come roll on over to your right side and rest your forehead down onto the ground, just to ground you and bring you back into the rough. And then slowly coming to make your way up to a comfortable seated position. Tangled up. Now you can sit on your bolster, you can sit on your blanket, come back to that initial seated position. As we seal our practice with one round of Om. Take the hands in Anjali Mudra at the heart. Take a nice cleansing breath in. Swallowing your throat. Before opening your eyes, envision a golden thread coming up from the earth on the outside of your right foot. Draw that golden thread up to your ankle, your knee, your right hip, up to your right armpit. Let it wrap around the under right arm, on top of the right arm, up to the right shoulder, and over the top of the head and down on the left side. Over that left arm, under the left arm, left armpit, hip, knee, ankle, and back down to the earth. Envision that golden thread radiating out into the auric field, your auric field, as if to shield and protect you in the day. If there are any negative energies that come at you, they just get bounced off and sent up into the light. And that golden thread radiates inwards to the core of your being, amplifying the healing within, creating greater peace and grounding within. Namaste. The divine light within me honors and sees the divine light within you. Thank you for your practice. At the bottom of this video, I have my contact information, my link to my landing page. If you wish to know more, feel free to click it on. If you know of anybody else who would benefit from this practice, please do feel free to share. Many blessings. Thank you.